The lone gunmen are shareholders on the next big video game venture. It's so real that it has resulted in a death
right before the game is set to ship. Can Mulder and Scully find the problem and save all the lives?
This is not happening.
I think they can. I really think they have the capabilities to do this.
Yes.
I'm almost positive that they're going to play the game so well that they're going to break it.
Yeah. Yeah, that could happen too. I'm not sure how to retort to those.
No. Andrew, let me just say, I am for 2 weeks now looking forward to how you're going to tackle this one.
Yes.
For anyone who has been listening.
Who is a long-term listener.
We gave Andrew a little task last week. It was kind of a joke, but I have hopefully had him stick to it. We'll see what happens. But he's only allowed to say positive things about this episode. Yes,
I have accomplished the mission.
All right.
I think you will be satisfied with the treatment that I'm giving this what do you call it?
Always.
Episode.
And I did set the limitation. You cannot compliment the same thing over and over. So
I can't just keep on going back to sound design.
You can't say sound design more than once. You can't say lighting more than once. So
yeah, I must tell you that the sound design in this scene is amazing, etc. Yeah.
Yes.
So welcome, everybody, back to the show. Welcome to This Is Not Happening, another X-Files podcast. I mean, you're here because you want to hear about the episode 13 of Season 7 of the X-Files, called First Person Shooter, which has been lauded as one of the episodes of the X-Files. And this one was written by William Gibson and Tom Maddox. Do you remember what else they wrote for the X-Files?
I believe it was the one you absolutely hated in Season 5, Kill Switch.
Yes, it was Kill Switch. That's a good point.
So you're telling me they have not upgraded since then? They have.
Well, listen, I'm not going to tell you what I think of first person shooter until as we get going, because that will be to spoil the surprise. Maybe, Mike, maybe this is one of those episodes that I actually like, because I look at it from some unique angle from 50,000 feet and go, you know what? If you look at it a certain way through the corner of your eye,
it's genius when you look at it this way.
Exactly. And there may be one of those things in this episode, but we'll get there. This is written by William Gibson and Tom Maddox, directed by none other than Chris Carter. So, I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Surely it's going to be pretty amazing.
He made it a point to direct this episode. He really wanted to do this one.
Well, because it's William Gibson. I mean, this is the man. This is one of the science fiction legends. So why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to natter on before we get going? Do you want me to just dive into it? Because I know you've been waiting for this.
I have been waiting. I think we should dive into it, and let's just have normal discussion, sir.
Okay, Mike, put your goggles on. Prepare to plug into the program, because now we shall descend into first-person shooter, where we open with klaxons sounding the background, fading in on a science fiction hangar as a red light flashes an emergency. 3 white men overdosing on adrenaline are gearing up, wearing space armor, super goggles, and big-ass space guns. In a nearby control room, a man and a woman, who we'll know as Ivan and Phoebe, are monitoring the men and their vital signs. As a computerized countdown announces the numbers, the hangar door opens, and 3 men charge out into what appears to be an empty warehouse. They take cover behind a metal barricade, waiting for the enemy to appear, and soon enough, several guys on motorcycles stream out from the far end of the warehouse, their headlights illuminating the gloom as they speed towards the trio. The men wait for just the right moment as the cycles get closer and closer, until suddenly their leader, Retro, calls for them to attack. The 3 stand up, blasting away with their heavy machine guns, their fire answered by machine guns mounted on the motorcycles. One by one, the motorcycles explode as they're hit by the trio's bullets, with ricochets bouncing off the trio's barricade. Finally, the last motorcycle explodes and the trio duck behind their cover. In the control room, Ivan declares it's a total massacre out there. In the warehouse, they progressed to round 2, with obstacles materializing out of thin air in the middle of the space. We see that new opponents have appeared on either side of the walls of the warehouse, looming behind glass windows, waiting for the trio to advance with their menacing machine guns. The trio charge, blasting away at the new combatants who bear a striking resemblance to Nazi officers.
Yeah.
Retro and Moxie make it, but Low-Fat is hit, a yellow blast exploding from his chest and sending him to the floor. As Retro and Moxie find the next cover, having survived the onslaught, they see that Low-Fat is down. He's being shocked continuously, struggling to get up. Moxie and Retro continue on. Moxie will cover as Retro charges in. Soon enough, the gunfire continues and Retro descends a ramp into a new area. Looking around, he finds nothing, but we hear the sounds of footsteps approach him as he holds his gun up cautiously. Mark Snow's music reaches a fever pitch as the steps descend the ramp behind him. We focus on a stiletto heel as the figure walks down, backlit through the smoke. She's dressed in the most revealing of corsets, her perfectly toned posterior marching towards Retro, who looks on slack-jawed. Soon enough, she appears out of silhouette, impossibly beautiful, standing before Retro, extending her hand. Retro kneels before her, taking her hand and kissing it.
Who are you?
I am Maitreya. This is my game.
And in her hand is a flintlock pistol, which she fires at Retro. She flickers, and the scene fades to black. Credits.
Boy.
What?
Well, that's an
opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it. Watching it as an objective watcher so far, Mike is on board with this one.
It's kind of got a little bit of everything you like, right?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of action, a little bit of video games, and,
A little bit of posterior. Yeah.
a little bit of tuchus.
I feel like the bullet budget for season 7 was completely expended in this opening. The budget they
Most
set
likely.
aside for blanks. If I ever complained that an episode was kind of light on action or gunfire, I think they heard us and said, all right, we're going to have the bangiest of openings, the opening to end all bang openings. And this was it. Like, it was crazy.
Well, I know how you like to pick apart openings. So I will ask you, how did this one grab you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best openings they've ever had. It's really pulse pounding and impressive and amazing. And honestly, so far, I'm in. It's really good. It's got a puzzle at the very end, like this person who came out of nowhere. Is she part of the game? Has Retro died? Is he out for now? What's going? It just seemed very unlikely, right? It's such a turn. So it is a wonderful little opening, and admittedly, I'm in so far.
All right.
After the credits, it's nighttime, and we are outside the offices of FPS, First Person Shooter, in Inland Empire, California, which I'm guessing is an actual place. Mulder and Scully arrive through a futuristic foyer into a security office, announcing themselves to a security dude who scans their IDs and retinas. After signing non-disclosure agreements, they're greeted by the lone gunman, who bound into the frame.
Dudes! Agent Mulder, what's up, well, man? Welcome to the land where silicon meets silicone.
Can I get you a latte from the bar or perhaps a bottle of designer H2O?
Scully?
How about a simple explanation as to why we're here?
Well, why don't we take a brief moment just to feel the pulse of the new American gold rush?
You're standing on the launch pad of a rocket headed for the stars.
Okay.
It's been a little accident.
What kind of accident?
Like an industrial accident.
How did the victim die?
Yeah, it's not exactly clear.
Right.
Was there equipment involved?
No.
Yes?
Yes and no.
What's your business here?
Our business?
Yeah.
We're consultants to FPS.
Langley did some programming for them. He created all of the bad guys.
Only the Euro goons.
We don't want to give you the idea that we're major profit participants.
Cash or stock options?
Options. Preferred rate. Vesting immediately with the short-term exercise against venture collateral to bypass SEC regs.
The IPO's in a week.
Game ships on Friday. 50 malls across the United States and Japan.
Only there's a dead body between you and untold riches.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd be checking my shorts for cake.
So, Mike, what I love about this scene is that it prevents a new side of the lone gunman that
Yeah.
we haven't seen before.
I was actually just going to ask you about that. Keep
Normally,
going.
we'd see them as we'd just see them as altruistic conspiracy theorists, shored up by no less than a whole episode, which goes into detail for the reasons behind their tireless dedication to finding the truth. But here, we get to see them with motivations. They're tired of not making money, I guess, or maybe the revolution just needs some capital.
I would venture to say, and this is completely out of my ass because it doesn't really come up until the 9th season, but they are running out of money as a venture to bring that truth to the public. That is a plot thread that they talk about after season 8 or during season 8 when they have their own show. And then that's part of the reason things are in kind of such a dire straits in season 9 for the lone gunman. They are out of money. That's a plot thread. I don't think this has anything to do with that, but I never had an issue with the lone gunman per se taking a stab at being capitalists here. Like, this never really hit me the wrong way. I know it has hit some people the wrong way. Like, why would they do this? This seems out of character for them, but I think they're just enough geeks to see an opportunity to make some money. And,
now,
they like video games.
To me, it is completely on brand and believable, and
exactly.
I'm completely supportive of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, their profit potential is on the line, and they've reached out to their friends in the FBI to help them get to the bottom of this unexplained death. Inside the warehouse, Scully pulls bubble wrap off the corpse of Retro, declaring that this man's been shot. Ivan, the lead of the project and stressed off his gourd, declares that is not possible. Weapons cannot get past security, which is odd to Scully, who reveals one of the giant super rifles. Langley tries to explain, but Ivan cuts him off. The guns are all fake. They're connected to the game's computers. The stunt suits they wear have paint charges for wounds and kill shots. All the combatants are virtual, projected, computer-generated images. Nothing's real. It's all virtual. When Mulder asks if anyone saw what happened, Ivan's partner Phoebe speaks up. She was in the control booth with Ivan, watching the player's vital signs. He was on his way to the next level when suddenly he was cooked meat. Scully decides to call the local police, which Ivan strongly objects to, leaning on the lone gunman. But she and Ivan leave the room to make their calls as Mulder presses Phoebe for more information. So we're okay with everything so far? You liking it? I'm loving it.
I
think it's completely believable.
The explanation as to what happened, I'm right there with them, is trying to piece this together. Everything's going well. The game's performing. The players are performing as they're supposed to, and then suddenly someone's dead. I think that's a really good mystery. I think that's, tense. I think it's a good mystery to have. I think it's simple, it's quick. The questions there, let's get to, finding the answers. So far I am good with this.
Me too. Retro went out on his own, and then suddenly his vitals spike and the game crashes. On the monitors, we see the room change from its ominous game scene to an empty warehouse, with Moxie running over to check on Retro. No one has any idea what happened. Langley helpfully explains that there are no res images on interior game spaces. Mulder, who, as we all know, has been a video game guy since the inception of the series, asks if they can display the wireframe, which hasn't yet occurred to Phoebe. She types some commands, and it displays an outline image of the game going to the area where Retro ran into. Despite the game going to market in a week, Phoebe notes they haven't mapped this area before. The display zooms in to Retro's final resting place, and we see his wireframe body prone on the ground, another figure looming over top of him, wearing high stiletto heels and wielding a gun. The crew is shocked at what they see. Mulder continues to show off his technical largesse, offering that Phoebe should texture wrap this unknown assailant. I mean, Mulder, just totally in on the video game stuff,
he's
right?
got all the lingo down.
Well, but we've known this about Mulder. He has been into video games since the start. Phoebe, without any input on what the texture should be, taps some commands, and soon enough, the avatar of the woman is constructed, showing us a computer-generated vision of Maitreya carrying her flintlock. Phoebe is looking distinctly cagey as she prints out the image for Mulder, muttering the word goddess.
Goddess. Here's partly where it starts to fall apart for me.
No, it's perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. Go on.
I don't like that the victim has a wireframe. Doesn't make sense. He was not coded into this game. So
I don't know, but the telemetry is all stored in the computer, so they can just retroactively create his movements. You know, he's got a suit on. It's got sensors. I buy it. It's all good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Keep going.
totally on brand. It's all right. Outside, Scully talks to Detective Lacour. He confirms that Scully's got nothing. No murder weapon, no forensic evidence, no motive, no suspect. Mulder, however, does have something. Perhaps a picture of the murderer, which does not impress Lacour. The detective goes off with it, and Scully's not impressed either.
Mulder, you're not serious.
It's all on the computer.
Mulder, there's any voluptuous vixen out of any number of video games.
She's not in any video game. She's in this one. And no one programmed her in.
Yeah, but even if they had, she's not real. She's a character. She's some immature hormonal fantasy.
Daryl Musashi. You see who that is? Daryl Musashi.
As I live and breathe.
He's Daryl Musashi.
The OG. Original guru.
Word is he slums as a game designer when he's not contracting to the CIA. The boy wonder of virtual mayhem.
What's he doing here?
Ivan must have called him to go in and slay the ninja babe.
Mulder, why does this game have the effect of reducing grown men back to moony adolescents?
It's Daryl Musashi.
Mulder. Do you want me to autopsy the body?
I love that scene. I have to be completely honest. I love the hero worship where someone walks in to solve the problem. And it's Daryl Musashi. And of course, this guy's here. He's the best of the best in arcade games, apparently. So he's gonna take out this woman. He's been flown in to solve their problem.
Right. It's a distinctly 2000 solution to this problem.
Get an Asian guy.
We're going to find out he's completed 91 run-throughs of demon whatever somethings.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I'm really on board with the idea that, you know, growing up with this stuff, there are people like that out there. Back in the early 2000s, there were, I don't know what you want to say, like grassroots tournaments and things like that you would find these shitty videos on, and someone would be this unstoppable Street Fighter player, and his name would spread around before social media, before all this other shit. So I'm on board with this. I really do like this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mike, normally, I mean, you might expect me to be a bit incredulous to the nature of how Gibson's writing these characters. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the past, I might have said something like completely out of character or ridiculously unbelievable. But Mike, here, there's an easy explanation. When they arrived at FPS, they had a retinal eye scan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that retinal eye scan has hypnotized them into being different characters than we know.
Oh, okay.
And I think that a lot of the events that follow in this episode are because of the retinal eye scan. It's all there.
That's what you're leaning on. So this is your wafer thin argument as to why things work in this episode?
I would argue that it is a foundation as strong as steel.
Okay.
Yes. It is brilliant and next level. And I, for one, can't wait to see how they deviate next from what we might call a good script into what we're watching tonight. Okay. Mulder and the lone gunman are now in the control room watching Musashi as he enters the game zone with a pair of submachine guns. At this point, another overly critical version of me might call out the writers for sending a programmer into this game when clearly an actual soldier might be more suited to the task. But hey, this episode is all about video games, so thus Musashi is perfect. He is clearly able to see the code of the game like Neo in the Matrix, and since the laws of physics don't seem to be modeled well in this game anyway, I mean the bad guys shoot, but bullets don't seem to hit their targets, it probably does not matter who they sent in. So Daryl Musashi it is. Inside the game, Musashi waits without emotion as Mulder, the lone gunman, Ivy, and Phoebe look on with astonishment. Soon enough, the motorcycles appear again, tearing down the floor of the warehouse as they speed towards a passive Musashi. They get perilously close until Musashi decides to open fire, blasting with both his guns until the motorcyclists are quickly dispatched. In the control room, it's unbelievable, and this guy's heart rate is only 68. Ivan points out that Musashi isn't waiting for the reset. He's running straight for the kill, whatever that means.
He's skipping level 2.
He's just skipping right by. He's found the shortcut.
Yep.
Well, he's gotten into the area where Retro met Maitreya, and Musashi looks around. Unfortunately, he's ambushed by Maitreya, who slashes at him with a sword. We hear Musashi grunt as he's wounded, then scream as we see he's had both of his hands cut off. In the control room, there's a combination of shock and ambivalence from those gathered as Ivan explained what just happened, and Mulder notes for the record that she cut off his hands. Back in the game, Maitreya decapitates Musashi to stunned silence in the control room. And we go to our first commercial break, Mike.
Okay. Well, I do like the emotions they have on their faces when this happens. It is genuine horror. What was going so well took a turn so fast. And
yes,
I'm right there with them.
It's not the first time they've played that kind of card, though. They parachute in a big hero, and then he's the first sacrifice of the game.
Yeah. My first watch version of myself is starting to question how this is happening. I'm not so far able to make the mental leap as to how a video game could materialize and kill people.
But Mike, the best part of this episode is it wraps it up so neatly at the end. There's this great explanation that gets dropped in. So you just have to wait for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying that's where I am.
It's a little bit, it's one of those things that they do where it's like, what? I don't really? No, I don't. And then you have to sort of string yourself along, suspend your disbelief because the payoff is worth it. I like your attitude on this one.
Yeah, I do.
Exactly.
It's open. It's willing to adapt. I really enjoy your take on this so far.
Excellent. Well, hang in there. We're not stopping yet.
All right.
We come back from commercial to Scully's autopsy of Retro. I think it's perfectly reasonable that Scully or any of the FBI or local police are not able to identify the gamer's actual name. I mean, clearly the unexplained murder of this man is trumped by the NDA that he signed. So Scully goes on to take notes, ultimately describing to us the almost impossible nature of his death. The man died from being struck with a high-velocity impact from an unknown object, which left no trace evidence of its existence. Mulder enters, witnessing Scully's frustration, as she thought she had something with the stunt suit. Charges go off to explode paint when the player is wounded, and a 12-volt jolt will keep the player stunned if the game determines he's been killed. And Mike, as an aside, I'm sure there'd be no problem rolling this technology out across 50 malls in the USA. I mean, in the year 2000, the American public would eat this up.
At all.
No lawsuits, no potential health hazards. I think this is totally on brand.
Well, to be fair, I think the American public would eat this up.
Yeah,
do not think it would be without many lawsuits, many congressional hearings. I mean, we were freaking out over Night Trap, and that was the tamest game you could ever fucking play. That caused a ruckus in the early 90s or late 80s. It was ridiculous. So something like this, where people are actually getting quote unquote shot and then electrocuted to stay down. Yeah,
that's my favorite part of it, actually.
I think we would eat that up. But, there would be the Karens, I'm sure, who would have issues with it.
All of the Karens. I mean, some people just can't like a thing, really.
You just can't have fun.
So, anyway, Scully thought she had something. Maybe one of the packs exploded inward, but this did not happen. So, Scully and Mulder then go on to discuss the positive and negative impacts of this type of game.
You have to admit, though, Scully, this is a pretty amazing piece of technology.
Yeah, wasted on a stupid game.
Stupid?
Dressing up like high-tech warriors to play a futuristic version of cowboys and Indians? What kind of moron gets his yayas out like that? Mulder, what purpose does this game serve except to add to a culture of violence in a country that's already out of control?
Well, who says it adds to it?
You think that taking up weapons and creating gratuitous virtual mayhem has any redeeming value whatsoever? I mean, that the testosterone frenzy that it creates stops when the game does?
Well, that's rather sexist, isn't it? I mean, maybe the game provides an outlet for certain impulses. that it fills a void in our genetic makeup that the more civilizing effects of society failed to provide for.
Well, that must be why men feel the great need to blast the crap out of stuff.
Well, testosterone frenzy or no, the only suspect we have in this man's murder is a woman.
Yeah, I've seen it. A computer-animated woman, Mulder, with a computer-animated weapon.
A flintlock pistol, which would leave a very large entry wound.
Pictures don't kill people, Mulder. Guns kill people.
As do swords. The world-renowned Daryl Musashi. Mulder. You're kidding. Thanks. LA Sheriff's Department just picked up a female suspect for the murders.
Are you ready for this, Mike?
I am ready for this. I just want to say, you were this close of lining that up with what I'm watching on. You were like half a second off, but it was pretty good.
Well, maybe you are half a second off. Maybe that's what we're talking about.
Very true, very true.
We're going to cut to the sheriff's department now, where a cluster of male police officers congregate outside an interview room. Scully and Mulder arrive to interview the suspect they brought in for questioning, the officers having all the energy of an amped-up 14-year-old. The cops picked her up outside of a strip club in Reseda, and she matches the description they posted. Inside, Mulder and Scully begin their interview of Jade Blue Afterglow, who is a striking image of Maitreya. Though dressed slightly different, it still evokes stripper chic. Scully can't believe Jade's actual name, but Jade owns it completely. In addition, Jade notes she has no memory of Ivan Martinez or first-person shooter, nor did she kill two men, one with a flintlock pistol and the second with a 14th century broadsword. When Mulder shows her the picture of the CGI Maitreya, Jade puts the pieces together. She was paid to have a full-body scan, which is apparently enough to end the interview. Mulder lets her go, noting that he feels the great need to blast the crap out of something. And I cannot exit this scene, of course, without the homage to Basic Instinct, the leg uncross and cross.
Yes. Which
I'm sure you caught that.
It is worth noting that one Mitch Pileggi was in Basic Instinct. Oh, shame that he was not in that scene or episode.
So it was a tenuous link, but I liked that you connected the dots.
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent work. Do you got anything more you want to say about Maitreya or Kirsten Allen? I think it's the actor's name. I think
it's a nice little twist. Okay, we actually picked up the murderer who looks remarkably like the computer generated image. So that was an interesting thing. But then she does bring it home. You know, like I was paid to be a model for a computer company, software company. So that's a nice little twist, a nice little, okay, so that's where the image came from. Let's see where this goes. So I'm okay with that scene. I do like how boyish everyone is. It is ridiculous.
Well, it's completely on brand with the story that they're telling. That this episode, this environment, this milieu renders men into crow magnates. You know, they're just baser instinct is what they are. They're driven by. So. Well, back at the FPS corporate offices, the agents return to the control room. In the dark, they find that Phoebe is passed out on the floor. However, it only turns out she's just taking a nap, as she's been working for 70 hours straight. Ivan's talking with the money boys, who are all freaking. The lone gunmen are back on the floor, testing a software patch to bypass the problem, as she so eloquently puts it. On the screen, we hear the lone gunman calling out for help as gunfire erupts, but Phoebe is unable to intervene, mashing her keyboard ineffectively. Mulder walks out with determination, and we cut to a floor-up tracking shot in the suiting-up room. Mulder has armed himself for virtual war as the countdown descends. Clearly still impaired by the retinal scan that's altered his common sense, he's chosen to wear the body armor that can shock him with 12 volts and keep him stunned and helpless. After all, it does complete the look. The airlock doors open, and he charges in to help the lone gunman. Byers was hit by Matreya's flintlock, but it was just a flesh wound. Mulder offers to count to 3, at which point he'll provide covering fire so the lone gunman can retreat. On the count of 1, the gunmen flee. And on 3, Mulder opens fire, blasting away into the open void. The gunmen, in the safety of the airlock, call out for Mulder to escape with them, but just then, Matreya, now sporting a much less sexualized combat harness, runs across the warehouse floor. Mulder doesn't shoot, but he decides to give chase, to an astonished Phoebe and Scully. When asked why he'd do that,
He's getting his yah-yahs out.
Good
on board
stuff.
so far, what an amazing scene. Yeah.
You're so full of shit. What an amazing scene. This is fantastic.
What an amazing scene.
And I'll probably save these thoughts for the end, but I do enjoy, there is a bit of boyish, if you will, glee at seeing Mulder dressed up like this and the lone gunman going at it, fighting the fight, playing the game. I think it's ridiculous. It's fun. And that's all I'll say about that right now.
All I needed for Mulder to do when he walked through those doors was to say, "Get away from them, you bitch." And the look would have been complete, because I'm sure that's the image that Carter and Gibson were going for there.
Absolutely.
Good scene. Good little open. Mulder charges down the ramp into certain doom, encountering Matreya, who wields her broadsword. Mulder tells her to put the sword down as she flourishes it dangerously. She spins the sword around a final time and disappears right before his eyes. She reappears behind him, slashing away. We and the lone gunman hear him firing in the distance. As they run back to investigate, we see a shimmer, and the virtual environment disappears, revealing the Barra warehouse. But Mulder is nowhere to be found. Scully enters, demanding to know where Mulder has disappeared to, as we fade to commercial. And clearly, Mike, this is, again, next-level story writing. Not only can Mulder be teleported into the virtual environment, emulating the movie classic Tron, Gibson and Maddox don't even need to waste time with an explanation. I mean, my money is still on the retinal scan, implanted memory instructions, it was all a dream, something. Luckily, we won't even have to wonder. It's all going to be explained at the end.
Okay. I will comment on the computer effects in this scene. When
the sound design is wonderful.
Oh, well, that it goes without saying, but I'll let you say it once. When she sweeps the sword around her and it removes her from the frame and then it disappears, I think that's actually pretty good for 2000.
Yep, it's good 2000 CGI. It's probably one of the better scenes. We're about to get into a place where you can see some obvious compositing, but it actually works in the video game template that we're working with. I don't have a problem with it. So that was a commercial, and we're coming back, and Scully is continuing to grill the lone gunman. They don't know where he went. Scully saw it all, but no one knows. The lone gunmen reiterate there's only the one entrance and exit. It's a virtual environment. He should be here. Phoebe enters. She's found Mulder, so we're back to the control room to elaborate. She shows us his vital signs. He's still in the game, but where is the game? Excellent question, episode.
Where indeed. It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/Magus Media, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support.
Well, we cut back to Mulder, who walks through the virtual environment of the game, wherever that is, aiming his weapon around the environment. He looks down the warehouse, seeing Matreya in the distance. She walks toward him and begins a series of somersaults, rapidly flipping towards him, evoking the movie classic Blade Runner. Mulder chooses his moment and opens fire, completely missing her, or perhaps bullets don't do anything to her. It's her program, after all. But as she gets within striking range, she decides not to kill him, flipping over him and disappearing. So, I mean, that was a great scene that added a lot to the episode, I think.
Well, it gives us a demonstration of her powers. You know, I know how you like to comment on why is her power shifting? Well, she's not only an excellent swordsman. She not only has access to ancient weapons. She is a fucking 10 out of 10 gymnast, Olympic gymnast, if you will.
In this case, another version of Andrew who would normally be critical of such things would actually say it is fine in this environment because it's a game. She is actually the goddess of this program. She can write up whatever code she wants to make whatever happen. Mm-hmm. So I literally have no problem with anything that she does here.
Okay.
Yeah. My slight issue with the scene, I mean, if you can call it that, would be its purpose at all. But anyway, we're not going to even go there because it's basically perfect.
Okay.
Well, back in the control room, Frohike and Langley run a bypass on the computer, rerouting the circuitry so they can shut down the game. Phoebe suggests they shouldn't. I mean, there's no way to do it. Ivan chooses this moment to barge back in. The FBI's autopsy has given a surge of excitement to the money guys, so the deployment is still on. Scully, however, is pissed at Ivan. Her partner's in that game and he's going to get himself killed. At the mention of Jade Blue Afterglow, Phoebe runs from the room and, sensing a clue, Scully follows.
You knew about her? Then it was you. You scanned that woman's body.
Into my computer. She was my creation. She was mine.
But why?
You don't know what it's like. Day in and day out, choking in a haze of rampant testosterone.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I mean, she was all I had to keep me sane. My only way to strike back as a woman. She was my goddess. Everything I can never be.
But Phoebe, she is still a killer. I can't explain it, but she is, and you put her in that game.
No, I didn't. I was creating my own game in my own computer. It was totally secret. I never told anyone. But somehow she jumped programs, and she's feeding off the male aggression. It's making her stronger and stronger. I need your help. You're the only one who can understand.
You've got to destroy her, Phoebe.
I don't know how.
Well, there's got to be some way. There's got to be some vulnerability or a weakness somewhere.
She has no weakness anymore.
Back in the game, Mulder runs away. He's run out of bullets. Maitreya advances on him menacingly. Mulder smugly assumes she's about to kick his ass up and down the block, and indeed, she starts a series of kicks that sends him to the ground. In the control room, Frohike notes that Mulder's vitals are spiking. He hasn't got much time. There are a few more recriminations, some cast at Phoebe, now that it's been revealed Maitreya is her character. But all this doesn't go anywhere as we return to the violence being inflicted on Mulder. Eventually, though, he's able to catch Maitreya's ass-kicking, stiletto-heeled boot, and he sends her to the floor. Enough of a distraction that he can run away to the lower level and grab her discarded broadsword. As he does so, the scene shifts to Cowboy Town, where the sci-fi garbed Mulder looks very much out of place wielding his broadsword, and we cut to commercial. Well, Mike, we're in the final stretch now. Do you got any thoughts before we dive into the last?
I do have thoughts. I think the weakest scene that we've seen so far.
I don't know what you are talking about.
Taking out the script, taking out how this episode is piecing together. I don't like Constance Zimmer in that scene with Scully. I don't like it. It is poorly acted. And I say that with the greatest respect to her. It's just written poorly and it's acted poorly. I'm taken completely out of the episode by that scene for some reason. I just don't like it.
The rules of this episode for me prohibit me from explaining further why that scene may not work.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the control room, the crew see that Mulder's advanced to the next level, but they can't do anything to help him. They've been locked out of the program, and they can see that Maitreya is sneaking up on him. Helpless, they look on as we cut back to Mulder, who turns and sees Maitreya, now dressed up in stripper cowgirl garb. She flourishes a six-shooter expertly, as Mulder holds his now ineffectual broadsword. She creates 4 extra copies of herself, stacking the odds in her favor, as he backs away. It's all looking very grim for Mulder when the door opens behind him and out emerges a sci-fi clad Scully carrying her own laser blaster. Mulder dives to the ground as both Maitreya and Scully open fire, and copies of Maitreya are quickly dispatched. Back in the control room, the gunmen exclaim how awesome Scully is, but Ivan and Phoebe are sullen. This is level 2, and no one has ever beaten level 2. It only gets harder. Scully connects back up with Mulder, who sees the door is closing. They get to it, but Mulder can only jam his sword beneath the door and struggle to open it as Scully blasts away at newly generated copies of a new Maitreya. In the control room, the crew looks on helplessly, but suddenly Phoebe has a change of heart in what can only be described as some of the finest writing in X-Files history.
This is nuts.
They'll never make it. How do you kill something that won't die?
Try and stop me, Ivan.
My whole life is in this game. What are you trying to do?
Stay out of this.
She's gonna destroy it.
It's the only way to save them.
Let it go.
Both of you.
You can save them?
There's a kill command.
It kills the whole game.
You knew about this?
She knew about it too.
You said it wouldn't work.
She was trying to save her creation, her goddess.
Well, you don't care who dies as long as your game survives.
Our friends are in there.
And we're not gonna let them die.
I'm sure the actors feel very good about themselves for uttering those lines.
We were not okay with this. We're not going to let them die. Those are our friends.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Classic, amazing dialogue. In the game, Scully kills off all the Maitreya's while Mulder tries and fails to lift up the airlock door. Meanwhile, a tank materializes into existence with Maitreya as its driver, and it's a whole new thing for Scully to shoot endless bullets into. The tension is palpable as Mulder continues to fail to lift the door. Scully seems immune to Maitreya's bullets, and a room full of computer geeks struggle over deciding whether or not to kill the computer program. Finally, Phoebe decides to let Maitreya go in a heart-rending moment of pathos, telling Frohike the kill code: Shift, Alt, Bloodbath. Mark Snow's music transforms into evocative piano as the computer screens fade to white and the game dissolves. The lone gunman and Phoebe charge into the warehouse, but again, no one is to be found. Phoebe, however, finds Scully's laser blaster, and they run to an airlock door, the four of them managing to lift it up no problem. Inside are a bedraggled Scully and Mulder, their suits shot with yellow paint. That's entertainment. In a fitting end to this outrageous episode, and everyone is reunited with smiles. The six of them march out in slow motion as Mulder narrates a victory lap monologue. Back in the control room, a new image is generated on Ivan's computer screen as he looks on in fascination. It's Scully, dressed in slick black vinyl, Maitreya's stripper garb, holding her own flintlock pistol. Ivan's got a new dream now. And that's it, Mike. That brings us to the end of an amazing episode called First Person Shooter.
Wow. You don't reek of flatulence, feces, fecal matter.
It doesn't smell so bad over here.
The words coming out of your mouth are baffling. But I, as a good friend of yours, or at least I like to think I am, I will...
You can consider yourself such, yes.
Do you a favor here. And I'm going to lift the ban of positivity and allow you to give your actual thoughts on this episode. Right now.
Oh, it's a massive turd, Mike. It's a massive turd.
Can you be more specific, sir?
Okay, before I go,
I'm going to roll credits before this, and then we'll just
exactly. I do have the final artfully crafted monologue of final thoughts to go over. But before I do that, it's tradition to let you, in this case, because I hosted, let you provide your final thoughts first.
Okay. Yeah. For me, this episode was never much more... I think the first couple times I watched it, I was definitely higher on it than I am. The reason for that being is because it was a blast seeing these characters. It got what they wanted out of me the first couple times I watched it. I think what they intended with this was to have fun, was to put our characters in some ridiculous situation, still have it be quasi-serious, and then give them the opportunity to play the game. I enjoyed that growing up, and I enjoyed it shortly thereafter, but after that, it kind of the dissecting nature of my mind, I guess. The reason we do this podcast is, wow, this episode not good. And I think part of me always knew that, the technical jargon and the acting never sat well with me in this episode, but I just can't look past it. I think there's some fun to be had here, and if you take it as just a quasi-serious episode, something to give us a break from the normal X-Files episode, it fits, it works. I do not think in any universe the explanation is there. I don't like it. I don't like that Mulder disappeared into a virtual world. I don't like that the killer can do this just because. There's no reason that a computer game, a program, can inflict physical harm on someone. They don't get us there. And I don't think they ever were wanting to. They just kind of give it this weird quasi explanation of, well, men are children when they play video games, something I totally disagree with. When they're reduced to their basic instincts, if you will, they're just a bunch of children who want to kill shit. So that is feeding the bad guy, and now she can actually inflict physical harm in the real world. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Jumping programs is it's a good one. That's a laugh. Yeah. The whole thing is pretty garbage. And I will stand by my point that so long ago in season 5, I was like, that is their best episode. Technical episode.
Oh, Kill Switch was.
Kill Switch, yes.
Right. Okay. Well, let me give you my carefully crafted, in accordance with the rules of the game, final thoughts. Often we say on this show that some of its episodes are pivotal moments in television, stories that tear asunder previously held notions of convention and rebuild them into something new. First-person shooter is clearly one of these moments, an episode so original, so meticulously planned, so cerebral that you'll spend hours, maybe days, contemplating the societal issues into which this story delves. I think perhaps the best moment of the episode is when all the pieces fall into place, when all the mysterious elements of the plot are finally explained. How a virtual character, created with virtual projections, is able to slice off the hands and head of a real person. How Mulder was removed from our plane of existence into the virtual world. Mike, it's an explanation so thoughtful, so simple. Well, I don't think it's even worth discussing. It's so obvious. So, in summation, is there a more perfect X-Files episode?
When you put it that way, no. Yeah. I can't argue with any of that. It's beautiful. Beautifully crafted.
Exactly.
Final thoughts there. I do appreciate that. So I'm going to, what was it? Control-Alt Bloodbath?
Control-Shift Bloodbath.
Okay. I'm going to Control-Alt Bloodbath the positivity disclaimer on this episode and allow you free reign for the next 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, you're going to have to insert an appropriate sound effect to... Exactly, to go over what my brain just did there.
Missile launch detected. Delivery in T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, yeah, it is... it's not even one of those... It's not even a Little Green Men episode where you can step back and look at it as an example of something else, X-Files, and go, well, if you look at it outside the show, it's its own unique snowflake, and I liked it. It's just... There's so many things about it that ring hollow for me. Like, ring in a way is like, obviously the regular writers weren't intimately involved in the writing of this script. Like, it's Gibson and Maddox kind of fanboying the X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
And they do love they were on the record about loving the lone gunman. So I didn't mind them using those characters. I've often said that using the lone gunman will make the show better, but they just come off as weird in the episode, right? Like there's suddenly these born in the bred capitalists, and they're leveraging their FBI connections to cover up a murder. That doesn't sound right. And then they're yah-yahing at the end. They're like, "Oh, she's on fire! This is amazing!" And yay, they're all saved now. It just felt weird, like they're a Greek chorus or something. It was very strange.
So, to be fair, I don't think they were trying to cover up a murder. I think they were bringing in their FBI buddies to help them solve this. I don't think it was necessarily cover it up so much as they needed to get this explained. I mean, I get what you're saying. I know what the script
clear
was. I know he didn't want
people at
cops,
the FBI.
but I don't know that it. If that's what they were going for in the terms of let's skirt the law, I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah,
I think they brought in people who could take on a case like this, understand it, get to the bottom of it, and fix it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe I'm giving this episode more than it should. It never rang true to me.
Never do that.
Well, not for something blatantly awful. I think the gunman trying to cover something up like that, I don't think that's in their nature at all. So maybe that never rang true to me. Maybe that is the fact. I don't know. If it is, I hate it.
I think that if we accept that this is a deviation and that I do like the idea that it feeds into a greater story element that going forward, like they do need money or they're going broke. And so this is the beginning of that story arc. I'm okay with that. And I think that there is actually a reasonable episode in here. It was when Musashi's hands and head got cut off, where you noted it at that point. It's like, I think this is where, and I was contractually obligated not to say anything, but yeah, that's where I was like, okay, there was a possible way that this could have worked. Mm-hmm. And Scully even said it. She's like, I thought one of the packs might have exploded inward. That's the solution right there, you know, but they can't do that. They can't fundamentally do that in the script though, because if they did,
it's not an
then well, no, it can be. It can be a Ghost in the Machine style X-File where the computer now controls all the elements of the production and it can make things happen in the environment that are physically connected.
Yes, I would think that maybe the computer taking over and controlling the packs and inflicting so much voltage through the players that they just can't, their bodies can't handle it, that kind of thing.
Yes.
However, that is very one note because once anyone steps into the game, they're all dead. So it's like
the solution for our heroes there is pretty simple. It's just, if we need to go in, you know, if that's where the solution lies. I mean, you can make a huge argument about, well, why don't you just shut down all the power, you know, to the
why don't you just take the vests off? And just go in there.
That was my thought, was like, why on earth is Mulder going into this thing with the vests that, you know, can literally stun him? But it supplied the aesthetic for the episode, and that's fine, I guess. But no, that would have been the out, would have been that he was killed by the vest exploding inwards, and that's, you know, how we have the projectile that didn't exist, except there would have been powder burns. So, you know, that's
in the universe of the X-Files, if you will. If we want to get into the AI transforming the packs or the vests somehow magically, it would not be uncharted territory as the machine in Ghost in the Machine. Changed the circuitry for the door lock in the beginning of the episode to make it murder someone. So this, however, would be much less believable because it's not even wired to the AI.
I mean, the problem is they went technical for the direction of the episode where they needed to go magical for the reasoning for how it happened. It needed to be Ivan made a deal with a voodoo priestess for his venture capital, and now she's infected the program and it can do all these crazy things. And it doesn't, because we're looking for the reason why. If the characters are investigating, then we're investigating.
Here's the problem with this episode, and we're saying everyone, there's no real satisfying way to explain this. Because if it was magical, if say he did make a deal with the devil or some witch in the forest or something, I'd be like, what? That's dumb. At least that's how I would react to it.
Yes.
There's no real way outside of a run amok AI like we just discussed that can resolve this episode in a satisfying way.
Well,
you can't have a computer program kill someone, a projected image. I mean, the question's great. I like the beginning of the episode. I do. I think, okay, that's a setup. I'm enjoying it. Let's see where we can get by the end of the episode. Unfortunately, they don't get there, and they try to stand on some weird principle about testosterone and what it does to men.
Well, they needed to inject a societal issue into it. Otherwise, it'd be pretty plastic without that. And Scully needs something to stand on. And I didn't mind this being that.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. Like the episode as presented does not give you enough to have a reasonable explanation for how this stuff happens. Like at the end of the day, there's still two guys who got killed, and there's no closure to those cases, right?
Yeah. I mean, Ivan thinks he's going to go on to create another game. I'm like, sorry, sir, you're going to be indicted. Your company is no more, sir. Whether or not you figured it out. Sorry.
Yeah. Or Phoebe is,
that hurt too.
Her character. But I think that if we're into the corner of, let's make it better, or how does one make this episode better? And I don't think that this solution does make it better. I think that it's a cop-out ending, but I think the ending would be after they finish the final level or something, or they figure out the key. There has to be just a key other than Phoebe decides to remember the kill code. Because I hate that, like you pointed out, that that scene between Phoebe and Scully is being poor. And I think it was poor because literally she says, I don't know how to stop it. So she's
you're
fundamentally
the only one who can
lying to Scully.
Yeah, she's lying.
Yeah.
And
you have to help me. It's like, okay.
First of all, here's my explanation. And I am not oblivious to video game design and the frat boy lifestyle that those game companies can have. The dialogue is not good. The way she presents it is not good. And when you have a woman in this situation and she's just lying to the person who can maybe solve the problem, or she wants to help solve the problem, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Okay, you created something in your own game on your own time. That's fine. I get that. But it was such a weak scene that I don't care what she's been through. And again, I am not oblivious in the real world to that kind of stuff. And I'm very, very supportive of that kind of thing. But
I think the issue is that we also know a lot more now than we might have in 2000 about how computer games were made. And this idea that the kill switch is going to destroy the program irrevocably is ridiculous.
It's like guts it. It's just a title after that.
And it's the only way to stop it. It's like, no, you can probably turn the power off.
Just unplug it
too,
Game over.
Anyway, I wanted to just follow up on the what would make it better part of this.
Yeah.
And I don't think this necessarily makes it better, but it is perhaps a better or an answer of any kind of stroke. And that is after they have their final the boss battle moment, and they exit, then we come back to the foyer, the security foyer where they have just done their retinal scan.
Mm-hmm.
And we pan back, we track back to see that the scan is still ongoing, and then it finally stops. It turns out, Mike, that the retinal scanner is the game, and they have been in a virtual environment this entire time. The entire episode we have seen has been a construction. It is actually an adventure game, similar to the X-Files game, similar to Myst, full motion video, whatever.
If they went that route, that would be much better. And I hate to say it, but it was all a dream aspect of Field Trip or something. It's played, but if they did that, it would fall together a little bit nicer. Somehow that retinal scanner put them into an immediate coma, and that's the game. And they have to figure out a mystery. That's fine.
I think it happens. It happens in a 30-second bit. You've had this whole adventure in 10 seconds, and you blinked and then it was over. And it's like, did that just happen? Like,
and then there'd be a taste of Total Recall in there.
Yeah.
Not that you need another reference from sci-fi movie history, but
another movie reference. Yes.
That would probably be one of the better ways they could have resolved this, to figure out, and maybe it would be an unfortunate rehash of Field Trip where they have to figure out not only the game, but realize they're in a coma or something.
I don't think you need to go there because the flavor of episode they wanted to make was high octane. They wanted an adventure and to sort of like look at how they finished it. And even they, Carter and the crew there have said they had a real problem trying to figure out how to end this episode. So the idea, and I think we have said this before, of going to a Mulder or Scully monologue to narrate the ending is tried and trodden ground for them to get out of something they weren't sure of. So I'm not surprised they went there, but it's certainly not satisfying because we don't walk away with any realization of how these things happened. They're just going to survive it and move on. Yeah. So I think that's the most unsatisfying thing for me. And to be fair, I think an It Was All a Dream ending, I would have been equally unsatisfied with. I would have liked it marginally more as a unique twist at the end, as opposed to this.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
We would just get into, well, that's an obvious and easy way out. And then there's no real winning.
Yeah.
I'm not condemning anyone who does that, but it is an easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away the weight of anything you just watched, right? So,
yep.
In an episode like Field Trip, where they did handle it pretty fucking well, in my opinion, they weren't all in a dream, for number one, but they put a spin on it that made it, the weight was still there, the stakes were still there.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. You can do an It Was All a Dream episode if it was truly, truly something where the audience goes, oh, if you can evoke a moment like that out of your viewing audience that's legitimate and it feels real at the end, is like, well, okay, so that was all a dream. If there are no bits and pieces where you can go, okay, this is fake throughout the episode, then I think that could be a truly good episode. But yeah, I mean, if they did go the It's All a Dream route, unfortunately, that is something that people don't like anymore. That is something no one is on board for. So
well, now, but in 2000 it might have been fine.
In 2000 it may have been okay, but I think even then we're kind of getting tired of it.
I think that they missed an opportunity to, I want to say a bunch of things all at once. And that is that Gilligan and Darren Morgan, they've written stories which kind of create their own little pocket universes within the X-Files. They'll have their own little conventions. And I think there was an opportunity for Gibson and Maddox to do the same here by essentially making a sequel to Kill Switch. Like, they clearly have a hard-on for strong, intelligent, kick-ass female characters. Like Invisigoth was that character in Kill Switch. So why not just go back to the well a bit and allow, instead of creating a new character in the form of Maitreya, allow Invisigoth to come in from the internet, essentially, and take over this environment. And now she's the one who's
so glad you said that. That is exactly where my head went. I was like, she needs to come back for this episode and save the fucking day. That would have been so cool.
I don't think you would have had anybody take exception to that. Right?
That would have been such an awesome twist.
Yeah. But so there you are in the zone of how to make the episode better. I think we have a couple of suggestions. Obviously, dear listener, if you have your thoughts, please feel free to share them with us on the Facebook group.
Join us on we did have one or two comments about this episode here.
Well, then, Mike, it is time for you to reveal those comments to the world.
I will. Before I do that, as shitty as this episode is, it did receive an Emmy. So, outstanding sound mixing and outstanding visual effects. So I think
I did say that the sound was amazing in this episode.
Yes, you did. I can't fault the episode for the technical aspects of it. So, well,
yeah,
at least the visual and sound.
I think we did kind of.
Yeah, the technically, the writing sucked. And technically...
Yeah, it's all in the script. It's always on the script. Everything else is usually fine in the show. There's nothing we really usually point at. Like one or two cases over 7 seasons, we've pointed at various actors and saying, oh, that was a mess. But generally, it's never the acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the characters that are written a certain way. And we're like, what are they doing?
Yeah. All right, so we have one comment from Emily Messenger. Am I the only one who actually likes FPS? I'm afraid to even say that out loud, but it is what it is. Is Mulder's gaming interest showing up out of left field? Yes. Is it misogynistic? Yes. Is the plot baffling? Yes. But I love all the screen time with the lone gunman. I love the Mulder-Scully moments. I love that Scully saves the day, and I love how the game manifests Scully as the new hero in the end. I guess I'm easy to please. And Nicole Baker says, I also like first-person shooter. Are the gunmen out of character for the capitalist venture? Yes. Is Mulder oogling Jade? Sure. Does the video game seem stupid? Of course. But it's entertaining. I like how they ask and answer their own questions in those comments. They both went that route. That's kind of funny.
Is it possible we're wrong?
It is possible. And you know what? Objectivity. People can like what they like. I don't fault anyone 100%. For liking the episode.
No,
it is fun. Listen. And it got,
everyone
like I said,
entitled to like your own crap. I mean, they might like Twilight for all I know. So
yeah, people like Nickelback. Don't worry about it.
It's right. It's a Canadian treasure.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, I think the episode got what it wanted out of me as a kid. So I can't fault it for that. I enjoyed the funness of it at the time. So I will take my head out of my ass and, allow it to be what it is in the end.
In the posterior.
Yeah.
It's my favorite word of this episode.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's the last person shooter.
Oh.
See what I did there? All right. Thanks, dear listeners, for sticking with us on this one. And Mike, I'm going to give you the final word tonight.
Don't let it scare you, ladies and gentlemen. Play those video games. They're not going to eat you. They don't bite. They don't have teeth. All right? So just go play your games. Have fun. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilespod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.